I'm basically just playing Control Warrior here, but I'm trying to take advantage of the new charge. It's now only 1 mana, but you can no longer attack heroes, so it's much more of like a combo or a board control card than it is like an OTK card like it used to be. So the obvious combo with this card is Magnetar Alpha. The problem with Magnetar Alpha, even though he has a pretty strong effect, is that he would just never live long enough to attack. And when charge was 3 mana, this was a combo that people thought about, but it just cost too much mana. Maybe at 5 mana, dealing 5 damage to 3 minions is pretty solid. And with Shaman being as popular as it is, it's actually pretty likely that you can charge into a 0 power minion, so your Magnetar Alpha will actually survive your clear combo. But we do have a couple synergies outside the Magnetar Alpha. Spellbreaker is a card that's kinda like okay, like having access to silence is nice, but the body on this card is just too weak, it has too little health, so it just kinda dies for free. But maybe if you can silence something and then just charge it and get value out of the 4 attack in the same turn, maybe the Spellbreaker is worth playing. I think this is probably the worst deck choice that I have right now, so if you wanted to replace something, I think the Spellbreaker would be a good place to start. Charge also makes Harrison Jones a little better. He kinda has the same problem as Spellbreaker, but when his battle cry lands, it's of course a lot stronger than Spellbreaker. But still, if you can hit a weapon and trade into a minion in the same turn, that can be pretty strong. Justicar is another card that's kind of in that same category. Has a really nice battle cry, you definitely want to be playing it, but because it's so weak, it's kind of hard for it to stick around on the board and actually get value out of its attack. So if you play it and then charge it, you know, get some value out of that 6 attack. Sylvanas is another card that's really good with charge, because if they play like a big minion, you can drop Sylvanas, charge into it, and steal it. I don't know how often that'll come up. Control Warrior could kind of already do that with Shield Slam, but it's a nice combo to have available, especially since I'm already playing charge, and Sylvanas is just a good card in her own right. Finally, we're playing Rafam. The biggest problem with Rafam has always been that the turn you play him, he doesn't do anything. So if you're losing on board, you play Rafam, you're still losing on board. They just ignore it and kill you, and then you still have to spend 10 mana on the artifact the next turn to get actual value out of it. But with charge at 1 mana, on 10 mana you can Archthief Rafam, get your artifact, and then your Archthief Rafam can actually do something on board. So I think it's pretty interesting to test Archthief Rafam in a deck like this. Other than the charge synergy, we're pretty much just playing standard Control Warrior cards. I think 2 Revenge is pretty standard right now because the card is so good against Shaman. I'm playing 1 Slam, 2 Acolyte, and 2 Shield Block. That's maybe a little bit more card draw than a typical Control Warrior would play, but since I'm playing combo cards like Charge and Magnetar Alpha, it's pretty important to get those cards together and not just have them sitting dead in the hand, so I'm playing a lot of draw. At least Starseeker is pretty standard in Control Warrior nowadays, but she's especially good in a deck like this. Because I have so many little combo things going on, it's pretty likely that I'm going to end up with some dead cards at the end of the game if it goes to Fatigue, so getting to reroll a Charge or a Magnetar Alpha or something into an additional legendary just makes Elise even better in a deck like this. So one notable card that I'm not playing is Grommash Hellscream, and it's mostly just because I had to find room for all these garbage Magnetar Alphas and Charges, and Grommash doesn't do anything if you put Charge on it. It actually gets worse because it can't go face, so I thought it would be a nice card to cut. But by cutting the Grommash, we don't really have a win condition, we just kind of have to grind them out, remove their stuff, and go into Fatigue. So the deck has less finishing potential than a typical Control Warrior probably. We're also not playing Gorehowl. Gorehowl might be a pretty nice card in this kind of deck, especially since we're kind of going for the Fatigue plan. But again, it's kind of hard to find a card to cut. Maybe you cut Spellbreaker for Gorehowl. I think that would be a pretty reasonable choice. So before the gameplay, can I just get triggered real quick? So we look at Magnetar Alpha. Also damages the minions next to whomever he attacks. Now we look at Foe Reaper 4000. Also damages the minions next to whomever he attacks. So it's the exact same text, but on Foe Reaper the second line is next to whomever he, and then the final line is just the word attacks. But then we look at Magnetar Alpha, and the second line is next to whomever, and the final line is he attacks. So it's the exact same wording, the exact same effect, the exact same wording, but the text is spaced out differently. The word he is on a different line. Now this has literally no relevance on gameplay, but it's just one of those things that the cards have the exact same text, so why isn't the text spaced out exactly the same? It makes no difference, but it triggers me, so I guess I'll just leave it at that.
Versus Jaina.
You asked for it.
Victory or death.
So even though we're playing the Charge Warrior, I don't think we can keep Charge in the opener. Against Mage, I'm assuming it's Tempo Mage. I think Fiery War Axe is really like the only card I want. I'd probably keep Slam. Shield Block is a little bit iffy. Like if I had Shield Block in my opener, I wouldn't be upset. But I don't think I want it bad enough to keep it when I don't have a Fiery War Axe. Maybe he's Freeze Mage. That would be nice. I think I'll just go ahead and play the War Axe here. I might want the mana to play Acolyte next turn.
Let the pain speak to me.
And if he's Freeze Mage, I shouldn't need exactly 2 armor that badly. But the Acolyte does make me lean a little bit more toward Freeze. So I think I'm just going to one-shot this guy and then armor up instead of playing my Acolyte. Sometimes Tempo Mage plays Acolyte, but he had nothing on turn 1 or 2 and then played an Acolyte. So it just seems very likely that this could be a Freeze Mage. So I'm going to start valuing my hero power very highly. Okay, Azure Drake, so it could still be Tempo Mage. Almost certainly not Freeze Mage. It could be more like a Control Mage at this point, though. I'm just going to play out Elise here.
You have the artifact.
Azure Drake hero power can kill Elise, but then I can Fiery War Axe into this and it causes him to use 2 mana this turn, when he probably has a lot of other things he could be doing.
I serve the Fire Lord.
Just going for that damage, huh? Wonder if this is a good spot to use my Magnetar charge combo. If I run it into the Flamewaker, they both die, and my Magnetar actually survives with 1 health. It's pretty easy for him to deal 1 damage to it, but he has to invest mana into dealing that 1 damage. Yeah, I think it's the play, right? For all those too weak here, I can't Shield Slam. Wrecked. There was actually some merit in coining out a hero power there, since I have a Shield Slam in my hand and currently no armor. But I think I want the option to coin out Ragnaros next turn. Seems like a pretty easy Ragnaros turn to me. Go ahead and kill this dragon, buddy. Nice. So if he has a good answer to Ragnaros, my hand is actually pretty clunky right now.
I serve the Fire Lord.
Did that just go face? Wow. Oh, give me my other charge. It'd be so good here. Let's start with a slam on this guy. The Revenge is interesting. It clears all of his stuff, but it puts my Ragnaros into Frostbolt range. I'm not sure if I like that. I definitely want a hero power this turn, but I kind of want to play the Acolyte too, since my hand kind of sucks right now. So I think I'm going to Shield Slam this. Doesn't feel like a great use of my Shield Slam, but I do need to get that Flamewaker off the board. And since I only have 1 weapon charge, I'm going to hold it here. I don't really care about the Rag dealing face damage, so it's better for me that it hits a taunt anyway. So I may as well give it a 2 and 3 instead of a 1 and 2.
Let's make magic.
Well, this isn't good. I wonder if I need to play Revenge here just to get the draw out of my Acolyte, maybe pick up my Ironforge portal. If I play the Revenge, I'm not going to have enough mana to play Justicari and get a hero power out of it. So it would be one of the 2 shield blocks or the Ironforge portal. So 3 out of 16. If he played the arcane missiles there, I have to imagine I'm getting close to dead, right? And this weakens my Ragnaros, but if he's putting damage into my Ragnaros, I think I'm okay with that, because it's not hitting me in the face. Looks like I'm most likely dead here. That was a fun game of Hearthstone.
For Doomhammer, victory or death!
I think I just really want Fiery War Axe. Well, the hand definitely got worse. I think I have to coin out the Ravaging Ghoul here. Hope it trades with one and then I can execute the other. Looks like I might just have to execute both of them. Although I'm not going to have the mana this turn. I think I'm going to execute the Trog here, just because it can get buffed with like a Feral Spirit this turn or something. I think the only way this is worse is if he rolls the Healing Totem and I draw Fiery War Axe. So I actually have a few options this turn. I can choose to Fiery War Axe either of those targets. I think I like the Mana Tide a little bit better though. And I can or cannot execute the Totem Golem. I executed the Trog last turn without giving it too much of a second thought just because he was applying so much pressure, but the pressure he's applying has been reduced quite a bit, so I don't know if it's as important to execute the Totem Golem here, especially since it's my second execute and it means it would be harder for me to remove like a Thunderbluff Valiant later in the game. I do have the Brawl in hand for the Thunderbluff Valiant turn though. I think I'm going to try to be a little bit greedy with my execute here. Maybe I can just Fiery War Axe this guy next turn. Although half of his hero power totems prevent me from doing that. I probably just need to brawl this. Then I can punch whatever lives. Go ahead and use the top deck to brawl. Maybe it'll tilt him. I hit the 50-50 on the best result. The wolf only did 2 damage instead of 3.
Tonight, a tale of terrible tragedy.
Wish I had a charge right now. It'd actually be pretty good. I think I'm just gonna play Sylvanas here. If I'm not playing Sylvanas, I'm doing like nothing. I guess I could just play out the Magnetar Alpha, but then it just like dies to Lightning Bolt or something. So just play Sylvanas to slow him down a bit. Looks like it's getting hexed. That's a lot of pressure. Give me charge. Sick draw. Nice. Now the 1/1 probably just trades into it, but I still killed 4 minions with my combo. I could have just brawled there, but I didn't really want to let any of those other 3 cards live. Plus the Brawl is a much better response to a Thunderbluff Valiant turn than the Magnetar Alpha, since he can't even kill Thunderbluff. Looks like I'm probably slam executing this thing from below. I can revenge execute. Just costs me so much to do that though. I'll clear his board. He won't have spell damage, which is pretty nice because getting hit for 3 from a Spirit Claws when I'm this low might not be good. Gets rid of one of my board clears though, but I guess I'm killing 2 big minions because of it. Or I guess if I'm using the execute on the Drake, I'm basically directly using the revenge to kill an Azure Drake and a spell damage totem. Card is so good in this matchup, but it's pretty good here. I guess I'll just go for the revenge execute here. If he has a weak turn and I can develop Reform next turn, I think I'll have a pretty good shot at this game. So hopefully this isn't like Totem Golem, Thunderbluff Valiant Hero Power. Has he played both Totem Golems? I don't even know. Alright, no Thunderbluff. That's good. Feral Spirit is a bit scary. So he's showing 6 damage. If I play Reform, I believe I'm dead to Bloodlust. He's only gonna have 2 cards in hand. Bloodlust isn't even in every deck. And if I'm not playing Reform, what am I doing? Play Shield Block, hope to draw into an answer. But what would my answer even be? I think brawling this board is a losing play. Drawing into Revenge would be nice, I guess. Ravaging Ghoul would be a decent draw. But overall, there aren't too many. I think I just have to play Reform here, and hope he doesn't have 9 damage. Question is, which one do I take? I feel like I have time, the Mummy Zombies is the best. This card's kinda bad against Shaman. Because they have like healing totems and shit to absorb the damage. No spell damage. Nice. It's trading into Reform. I am happy to see that. Maybe I should have just taken the timepiece. This card is pretty bad against Shaman AoE if he can get some spell damage. So like this is Lightning Storm, he has a 50% to roll spell damage and then my board just dies. And even without the spell damage it's a 50-50. I feel like this is just such a good turn to play it though. Hopefully I don't die. He needs 6 damage, that's not that easy. I think this puts me in a winning position if I don't die this turn. So I should be able to kill off his board here pretty easily, and then I can start stabilizing with Justicar. I could use my Spellbreaker here to silence one of these and save one of my dudes, but I just gotta start getting armor. I'm in a pretty good spot right now. I think I'd have to get pretty unlucky or misplay pretty hard to lose this game. And I think that's all of his Flame Tongue totems. Oh, I'm so happy he didn't have that last turn. I would've got fucked. It's actually still pretty good for him. Well, this is definitely a good Harrison Jones. Have I had a better Harrison Jones before now? I don't think I have. Maybe I've been fucking up. Second Revenge is a really nice pickup. I actually totally forgot that Harrison Jones was in my hand, but I do think Justicar was better last turn. Actually, maybe Justicar wasn't better last turn, because it was so much worse against AoE, but I kinda knew he didn't have Lightning Storm. He had to top deck it. And then on the Mummy Zombie turn, I think that was just a really good turn to play that card. Hopefully I don't look back when editing and realize that I embarrassed myself by not playing Harrison until now. I'm just gonna drop Rag here. I don't really have any other good plays. If I really wanted to kill the spell damage totem, I could Fiery War Axe into it, but it doesn't seem that important. Obviously it's best for him if he hits my Rag, which of course he did. But I don't think it's that big a deal, I can just Shield Slam that guy. Alright, so I'm gonna Shield Slam Rag. And I think I'm actually going to Fiery War Axe into this guy. I could have cleared it with Ravaging Ghoul or just ran into it with Harrison. But with either of those plays, if he rolls spell damage, he can just kill off the Harrison. I think having the 4th point of health on my dude is pretty important here. Alright, second Hex. He still has both of his Thunderbluff Valiants, which is pretty scary. I guess I have a Shield Slam though. I'm not sure if I should be worried about fatiguing right now. I'm pretty far ahead on life. Actually, I guess I'm not. I'm only up by 12. Wondering if I should just chill or if it's okay to play the shield block here. I'm just gonna go ahead and play it, since I have nothing to do this turn. Nice. Worst 4-drop in the game. I've had some pretty decent luck this game though, so I guess I can't really complain about that. But it was the worst result out of like 30 or something. I have no clue how many 4-drops there are. Let's just go ahead and wreck some totems. So he still has his Thunderbluff Valiance, but I have a Revenge, a Brawl, and a Magnetar Charge combo. So it might be kind of hard for him to get value. Oh, that was a really good spell damage totem. So if I silence the spell damage totem, does this thing lose its buff? It's while you have spell damage. So it should lose the buff if I silence the totem, right? I literally haven't played a silence card since this card came out. I don't actually know. And it's really good because if I silence this, it stays on the board so he can't re-roll it. And if it gets rid of the buff, that's just super good. Although I guess this is the last charge of Spirit Claws in his deck. But spell damage is still pretty good. He's got Lightning Bolts and another Lightning Storm, I think. I'm kind of just curious to see what happens. Okay, so it does get rid of the buff. Anyway, what am I doing? I don't know, I got really distracted. That would have been a really nice turn to have the Magnetar Alpha charge into this and just kill everything. I could have also just charged this guy into the Fire Elemental and played Ravaging Ghoul. But then, like, this guy pops. I guess I could have silenced this guy instead. It's a pretty shitty Bloodlust. So I can Magnetar charge this board, but I can probably also just play Ravaging Ghoul. So I'm definitely not playing these Acolytes that I have remaining. I'm rerolling those with Elise. I think it's actually not completely impossible for me to lose this game. I was just playing this without getting a totem. So I could Revenge and then War Axe into the Thunderbluff, but then I have to leave up a 4/1 Drake, seems kinda bad. I could Magnetar Charge and then War Axe, that would clear his board. Or I can just chill and try to Brawl it. Problem is if he just Hero Power passes next turn and then I Brawl, and like the Thunderbluff Valiant lives, that's like really, really bad for me. I'm actually not feeling very confident about this game. I think I'm just gonna pass here, and then next turn can be like Brawl Elise. I have a huge life lead, which is what's gonna win me the game, if anything. It was probably a mistake of him to play the thing from below. He should know that I still have a Brawl in my hand. Hopefully something lives that I can War Axe down. That's still fine. At least puts this in War Axe range or like Revenge range. It's annoying that the taunt lived though, because it makes my Magnetar Charge combo a lot worse. But I might not even be playing my Magnetar Charge combo. I think I'm gonna clear with Revenge and then play Golden Monkey. So I Revenge here. Send in Elise. I guess I should have technically played the monkey before sending in Elise. I don't know what legendary I could get that would change my mind, but probably the technical right play. This is actually a really interesting hand. Like, Majordomo sucks. But it's going to be hard for him to deal 8 direct damage to me, and that is a big Death Rattle minion for N'Zoth. The Sylvanas is really good if I can copy Sylvanas with Harrow Village. This is a pretty interesting hand, but I don't know how much it's actually going to come into play. I think just dropping Sylvanas is the pretty easy first play here, though. I don't believe I have any dead Death Rattle minions currently, because he hexed my first Sylvanas, and I think that's the only Death Rattle minion I actually play. It should be pretty hard for him to win from this point, though. Have I seen his other Lightning Bolt? I guess I have, because he would have played it here. Totem Golem. Okay, so that should be game. Can even play Major Domo for the style points. Oh wait, am I making a mistake here? Nah, it doesn't matter. Even if he just rolls Taunt Totems over and over again, it doesn't matter. I hope he doesn't surrender so I can Herald Village my Major Domo. Actually, that might be a bad idea, because then it could die, and a Searing Totem could kill it.
Hunt them down.
How much did I just take? I mean, I guess if he gets Searing Totem, I can just send one of my other dudes into it.